of the line of storm. So we'll get some information on this. So the tornado warning in effect, again, until 10:15 tonight. So we are looking at a couple of those cities here within that polygon. So looking at Buffalo Center, Crystal Lake, Woodin, all in effect until 10:15 tonight. So we will have team coverage as long as we have any type of tornado warning in the KTTC region. We do have a tornado warning that is just west of Freeborn County, believe into Faribault County here. So a very active night. We'll kind of zoom out so we can get a full scope of this line and just kind of see all the different polygons. So we have right now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different tornado warnings issued along the leading edge here of this line of thunderstorms. Again, strong wind, and now we're looking at those quick spin up type tornadoes. One is observed right now. That's where we see that pink polygon. It's going to be a cluster tonight in terms of where we have these different polygons at. So let's just look at without radar on. Notice here's all our different polygons. And at one point, I believe storm spotters were able to get confirmed that we did have a tornado reaching down to the ground with one of these here. So we'll zoom into that. That is just west of the KTTC region. So that's close to Buffalo Center, just south there of Blue Earth. This is where we did have, at least along the leading edge, we had that confirmed tornado. Still under that warning, Gardner, Forest City, Buffalo Center. So looking at northern Hancock through Winnebago and then just barely into Sarasota County. So a very active night. If you have family members or friends or anything like that in these locations that are being impacted by the storms, kind of the far western half of the KTTC region, so west of I-35. If you're in Mason City, you're not under a warning at the moment, but head to your safe place. Get inside, away from windows. Thunderstorms producing close to 60 to 75 mile per hour winds, moving off to the east. Derek, do we know how fast this line is moving?
So the line in northern Iowa that you're looking at right now, that one's moving east at 55 miles per hour.
Okay, so storms are moving fairly fast tonight then. So we'll put a track out and just slightly to the east-northeast here. But looking at some of the locations here, so Fort Dodge, looking at Fort Dodge by 9:43, so in just about 5 minutes. Mason City, you still have some time for the leading edge, so we're giving you the first alert, plenty of time to get inside, get away from windows as these storms start to approach. Not until 10:31 for at least the leading edge, making it towards Mason City. Probably give or take 10 minutes there or so. So we're probably looking at about 10:20 to 10:30 for these storms to impact Mason City and areas just east of, say, I-35. Not into Austin until about 10:40 to 10:50, and then not into the River Valley towards Decorah until maybe about midnight. So could be a pretty long night for some of us here in southern Minnesota and northern Iowa. We did have some warnings with this band that is moving just east now of Mankato. So this has weakened, so it does look like the atmosphere is slightly more stable the farther north you are of I-90. With these storms starting to approach the I-35 corridor, those have weakened quite a bit. These were packing a punch out to Mankato and west with a couple different tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings with the really strong wind. So those have weakened. That's good news, at least for a lot of us probably looking at areas north of I-90. We have this cluster of thunderstorm activity that is right along I-90, kind of the eastern half of Mower and then through Fillmore County. So I-90 and to the south, we do have a cluster of cells there, really just looking at some thunder, some lightning with that. Derek, so we have that confirmed now. Can you see from the National Weather Service in chat?
Yep, I'll take a look here.
They did just, so something cool that at least our system does, anytime that we get confirmation that there is an observed tornado, our polygons change from red to pink. So a red one, radar indicated, we now have a pink polygon, meaning it is confirmed that we have some type of wall cloud, funnel cloud, or something reaching the ground. So it is observed. So Derek's checking in to see how they got that observed.
Yep, and I just got some information. So a confirmed tornado was located over Wesley or 12 miles east of Algona, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour.
Okay. So the problem when we have some of these linear lines, it's hard to depict exactly where we're looking at in terms of our velocity. Say that again, Derek. Was it
Wesley?
Right near Wesley.
Yep.
So I think I got it here. We're looking right along Highway 18, and out on the leading edge, you get these inflow notches, which allows a rapid rotation in the storm. This is where we're concerned at, and it's not your prototypical couplet along the leading edge of these storms. It could still produce EF1, EF2 type tornadoes, so still some dangerous type of tornadoes, and we have it observed at the moment. So if you're within that polygon, near Wesley is where the tornado is observed. So that's why our polygon is in pink. This is in effect until just after 10:30. So we still have another 45 minutes of this. It is moving at 55 miles per hour. So I want to put a track on this and kind of get it right where I think we have the rotation at. But in general, I'm probably just going to draw it just along the polygon, just so everyone knows what time we're looking at it. Again, this is in northern Iowa. So we're looking at Buffalo Center by 9:55, Forest City by 10:08, and then we're looking at Lake Mills by 10:18 is when this observed tornado, confirmed, would impact those cities. So probably looking towards about I-35, so closer to Lake Mills within the next close to half hour. So plenty of time, even with this cell moving at close to 50 to 60 miles per hour, moving right out at 55. So with that last radar scan, we're looking just to the north of Highway 18. So right in that general vicinity. And we'll have these little inflow notches along the leading edge of where we would have that rotation at here. Anything else from the National Weather Service, Derek?
Nothing from the National Weather Service. Behind the storms, it's a little bit further west in Estherville in Iowa. 75-mile-per-hour gusts were reported there. So that's a little bit further behind the storms, but that was when the storms passed through is where they had those gusts reported. So it is giving some really gusty winds in this thunderstorm with this Boeing segment.
Yeah, and so not only do we have the tornado warnings, right, but I mean, you're looking at considerable damage with any type of wind speeds at 70 plus. Again, National Weather Service warns severe thunderstorms for 60 miles per hour. That's the minimum threshold, so we're well over that, approaching 70 to 75 miles per hour. So observed tornado, and these inflow notches right in that vicinity would be right where I think we would have that tor at. And they did just extend another one. So these little inflow notches, and that would match with Wesley because it's moving kind of due east, but a little to the northeast. So that inflow notch, and then you allow the storm to rotate here. So that tornado warning in effect until 10:35. We have another warning down to the south. And I expect, and National Weather Service in Des Moines has been doing this for the past hour or so, warning, pretty much tornado warnings all along this line here. And the strongest portion of the line is moving towards about that I-90 corridor just west of Freeborn County. So I want to put just a track in general. I know a lot of people probably tuning in from the Med City, from Austin, to the River Valley. I just want to put a track all the way out towards the River Valley here tonight so we can get an idea, because we're probably looking at storms impacting the region probably after about midnight. So a very long night here. So if this continues to push to the east-northeast just at about 55 miles per hour, we're looking at Mason City by 10:30, 10:40. Towards Rochester, not until 11:30 tonight. So it's 9:47. So we got 90 minutes or so until this, if this holds together, until it'll impact about the Highway 52 corridor, and then River Valley, La Crosse by well after midnight. So we are looking at a pretty long night. Did you have something?
Yeah, and what I was talking about earlier in newscasts and in our live streams on our social media sites is that our temperatures are going to play a big role as these thunderstorms pass through our boundary line. So we could take a look at temperatures, and we'll probably see a nice gradient. We've been seeing that gradient where just to our south, even towards like Albert Lee, they had temperatures getting into the upper 60s, low 70s, while Rochester only got into the 60s today. And that frontal boundary is going to really play a role in kind of what we see here coming in towards our late night hours with this thunderstorm moving through. So we'll take a quick look at those temperatures and see kind of if we can see it. It's a little bit towards the nighttime, so we are cooling down a little bit. But yeah, you can see that boundary line. So that frontal boundary that I've been talking about is sitting right along here. And so as these storms pass over that frontal boundary, we'll likely start to see some pretty fast weakening from these thunderstorms, maybe even breaking apart as we go into the late night hours later on tonight. But those warmer temperatures in northern Iowa that you see, those yellows, oranges, that's what's really fueling these thunderstorms. Even in the late night hours tonight, we don't have that daytime heating really anymore, but we still have really warm temperatures. I mean, notice 78 degrees in Waterloo while we're at 54 in Rochester. So some big changes, differences in those temperatures. And again, that's why we're seeing these strong thunderstorms, again, mainly along and south of I-90 now, and why those thunderstorms north of I-90 towards Steele County are starting to weaken a little bit, where we have those much cooler temperatures. And there's a look at those temperatures across the area, and you can see that difference. So that 54 degrees, 53 degrees Rochester Red Wing, and then 61 degrees an hour away in Rochester, and 68 degrees, close to 70 still in the Mason City area. And again, that's what's fueling these thunderstorms, but what's also making the thunderstorms a little bit further north towards Steele County a little bit on that weaker side.
Yeah, and that's a good point, Derek. So it'll be interesting to see what these thunderstorms do as they continue to progress, kind of north, at least I-90 north. If you know, I don't think we're probably not looking at a ton of severe thunderstorms I-90 and to the north, just because the fuel's not there. Now, if that front does all of a sudden push farther north and it allows our temperatures, you know, low 50s, all of a sudden if we do jump into the 60s, then maybe we are looking at maybe these thunderstorms holding together a little bit. But I would not be surprised if once these storms do kind of get out of that warm sector, they'll start to at least weaken slightly, probably as they approach I-35 and getting off to the east of I-35. So that's kind of the whole trajectory of this line that we've been talking about since almost last Monday. We issued these first alert days for today on Wednesday of last week. So right now, this is what we expected to see tonight with these thunderstorms and this linear line moving in. And it is a very intense line. And I think most of the really strong thunderstorms probably ride right along Highway 18 into the south. That's where the moisture is at. Go ahead, Derek.
So a little update from our Estherville report. Wind gusts now reported as 82 miles per hour in Estherville when those storms passed through. And that reading just came in, and that's just south of the state line.
Okay, so yeah, so very, very strong. Yep, I see. So for anyone that is wondering, Estherville is right here on our map. So you said 82?
82 mile per hour gusts.
So really strong. So I-90 south, that's where most of the strongest cells will be at tonight. So if you're tuning in from Rochester, fingers crossed that boundary will kind of keep these right along I-90 and to the south, so it doesn't impact areas north of I-90. For those of us south of I-90, we really got to pay attention to this line that continues to move to the east. So let's go back through some of our warnings here. We'll talk about the observed tornado that we have. So observed tornado for Hancock, Kossuth, Winnebago, and Worth counties. That is in effect until 10:15. Derek, it was observed near Wesley?
Yes, that was correct.
Okay, so east of Algona, So Algona here, Wesley just a little farther downstream, but that is starting to move towards the center of about, so we're looking right around this region is where we could have that observed tornado. So we're looking into northern Hancock and just near the county line, near Hancock and Winnebago counties. So that's our observed tornado. There is a severe thunderstorm warning still in effect. We see that orange polygon there. That includes Cerro Gordo, and then as far north and east as Worth County, right along I-35. So this section, this sliver, this 4-county section that we cover here at KTTC, these folks are watching us here tonight and hopefully in their safe place this evening. And there we go, we got
Tornado
a new
warning for
one.
Albert Lee.
Let's see, let's get the information on this one. So new warning now, this, try to get me the information on that because it's gonna go right into there we go, I got it.
It's still moving east at 55 miles per hour.
Okay, so this portion's moving at 55 too?
Yep.
So this now into Freeborn County. So this is Faribault, Freeborn counties until 10:45 tonight. So another tornado warning. It's red, meaning it's radar indicated. So we see that here. They have anywhere in particular that they're looking at in terms of rotation? They're really warning this.
No.
They are really warning that far downstream.
They're also warning it for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So that's another detail in this warning.
So that's from Chanhassen, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we're looking at, I would assume, are they worried about the cell that's out in Blue Earth then? Is that what they're warning this for?
It looks like, yeah, because they're warning this. They're saying this tornado will be near Bryceland around 10:10, Emmons, Manfield, Wells, and Alden around 10:20. So that's our furthermost west cities.
Okay. So I'll put a track on this, but it does look like, and notice these little inflow notches, right? I was talking about those inflow notches along where you kind of get these little notches here within reflectivity. That's where you can get that rotation and spin up along a linear line of thunderstorms. So we'll put a track on that. Derek, you said it was moving at 55 miles per hour
Still moving at
still?
55, yep.
Okay. So I'm just going to adjust this slightly. So I wanted to get it all the way out to Albert Lee. So this gets all the way out to Albert Lee. So Bryceland, what did the Weather Service have on their timing for into Bryceland? There was...
I believe that said 10:20. Let me check again really quick.
So I adjusted the speed just a little bit.
10:10.
10:10, yeah. So I adjusted the speed just a little bit. So we have the same timing as National Weather Service. So Bryceland by 10:10, Wells by 10:15. So you have plenty of time. Albert Lee not until 10:30. So they're really warning this downstream, meaning they think that it should hold together and at least still be strong within the next half hour. So I'm going to circle the areas of concern that I have here through the rest of the night. So drawing this here, and it's really all of our viewing area south of I-90. This is where we will have the thunderstorm activity. Now, we probably will, we've been kind of on and off with some rain through Rochester. It's been kind of heavy at times. And we could even start to, I mean, Derek, you've been here all night. These storms have not moved.
Not really, no. They were moving pretty good towards northern Iowa. They were just kind of flaring up there along that boundary line. And now since they've moved into Fillmore County, they've really stalled out kind of on that boundary line.
Yeah, we'll see if we end up getting a flash flood.
We do.
I know they have a
mesoscale discussion.
Yeah, I saw the mesoscale discussion earlier that
flash flood.
Yeah, that they were worried about some isolated flash flooding. And I think we could end up having some flash flooding in Fillmore County and then maybe right along I-90 in southern Olmsted and into Winona County. So I would not be surprised through Chatfield, Lanesboro, Preston, probably just east of Leroy, but a good portion of Fillmore County, probably looking at some flash flooding issues. And then that southern half there of Olmsted County, probably Stewartville towards about Chatfield, even St. Charles. So some issues going on. Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, so in that tornado warning for Freeborn County, we also, in the description, they added torrential rainfall is also occurring with these storms, which also may lead to flash flooding. And of course, do not drive. If you do run into that flash flooding, do not drive in the water. Turn around, don't drown.
Yeah, you never want to get stuck in any type of water. Did just get a report from Ann Glazier in Albert Lee. So sirens are going off in Albert Lee. You'll hear those. Definitely the storm sirens going off in some portions of Freeborn County. Probably not looking at that at least couplet of where it is warned at, impacting Albert Lee, the I-90, I-35 interchange, probably until about 10:30 tonight. I do want to go over the velocity. Will be very difficult tonight to find and that's why Derek, we'll really have to work with the Weather Service tonight. Just with these small couplets here tonight, it'd be almost impossible sometimes. So probably pretty close to Blue Earth, right along I-90 is probably where what the National Weather Service is seeing in terms of, go ahead.
The National Weather Service, as soon as you said that, did answer, and they are issuing that tornado warning ahead of the bookend of vortex is what they're calling it, so that top edge of that line of thunderstorms. This overall remains our best chance of a quick spin up and gusty winds.
Yeah. So QCLS
yes.
type tornadoes is what we'll see. Typically, those are only EF0s, EF1s, again, still can do some damage. Sometimes you can get closer to EF2s along the leading edge, but you could see probably and it'll just be these small little couplets all along the leading edge tonight. So we'll probably, unless if we for sure know where a couplet is at, we probably will stay away from velocity as a whole, just because it could, well, here's a pretty good one. So this is our observed one, and I just switched.
I think you switched to the Twin Cities.
Yeah, I need DMX. Well, there's Chanhassen.
Oh, there we go.
So here's where we would have the rotation at. So I want to stay on this for a second. This is observed. So Forest City, in your safe place immediately. Anywhere right along Highway 69, I can't stress this enough. This is an observed tornado, so right now we have confirmation that there more than likely is something on the ground, and it is right near Forest City, just to the west. If you're in Lake Mills, get inside, get away from windows immediately. Derek, do we know this is moving kind of east-northeast, right?
Right, and that's the same one that's still moving 55 miles per hour.
So Forest City, time right now is 10 o'clock. Forest City at 10:05. Can't stress it enough. Get in your safe place. You will hear me say that a lot tonight. As long as we have tornado warnings, we're looking at Lake Mills by 10:12, Bristol by 10:15, Freeman by 10:24, and then Northwood by 10:27. So plenty of time for some of us. Forest City, you have friends or family in Forest City, even towards Gardner. There's the possibility for some quick rotation here in Gardner too. So, and that, it looks like the rotation, I want to try to zoom in. It's going to, hopefully it won't switch to a different radar site for me. But two different spots where we could have some rotation at. The best spot would be just to the north there of Forest City. Leland, that's right?
Yes.
Okay, because the L is right on the Highway 69 line, so I wanted to make sure that's what we're looking at. So Forest City, Crystal Lake, in your safe places immediately tonight with an observed tornado warning. That's why our polygon is in pink here, and you can really see the bright greens. So we are probably looking at, what's this warned for too? Is it warned for 70-mile-per-hour winds, Derek?
Let me check here. I'm pretty sure
just check that. I think all along this line, we could have wind speeds approaching 70 miles per hour easily. So not just not just the tornado warning, but you can
70
really,
miles per hour.
yeah, the bright green colors here on velocity, a really good signature there. We have some really strong wind gusts moving through Winnebago and Hancock counties. This is, again, just west of the I-35 corridor. So a very active night for some of our counties. Just running through the line here, tornado warning in effect for portions of Freeborn County. That does include Albert Lee. We have the observed tornado warning, Winnebago, Hancock counties. We're talking about Forest City, Crystal Lake, need to be inside, away from windows. We are live streaming. If you, for some reason, lose power tonight, we're live streaming on our social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and on our live stream at KTTC.com. So we will have you covered even if you lose power tonight. And then we have tornado warnings just south of Highway 18, Mason City. You do have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect for those considerable. So we could look at considerable damage once you have those wind speeds exceeding 70 miles per hour. And we could have that along the I-35 corridor I know there's no tornado warning, but Cerro Gordo and into Worth counties. The worst thing is that we could be looking at the same type of situation coming up again tomorrow night. So an active night probably through the next couple of hours here or so, and we are looking at the same type of situation coming up tomorrow evening. I do want to say you are watching KTTC News at 10 o'clock. We will not have your news coverage this evening because we do have the tornado warnings along the I-35 corridor. So for Freeborn County, under a tornado warning, and then we have Winnebago, Hancock County. So if you are expecting to watch the news, we will have all those stories, sports and whatnot on our website at KTTC.com, but we will be sticking with weather coverage tonight, providing potentially life-saving information for those of us that are under those tornado warnings along I-35. So again, you're watching KTTC News at 10 o'clock. The time at the moment is 10:04. Derek, why don't you take over for a split second and just run us through some of these warnings?
Yeah, so we have a number of tornado warnings across this line here. Severe thunderstorm warnings along with that. We do have our severe thunderstorm warnings warned for 70 mile per hour wind gusts, which is labeled as considerable for that damage type. So that's what Nick Jansen was just talking about just a little bit ago. But we do have a couple discussions to talk about here, as flooding is going to be a concern with these thunderstorms, as especially the ones towards Fillmore County, as we mentioned before, but even the main line that's moving through I-35, it may be moving at 55 miles per hour, which is moving very quickly, but is still producing a lot of rain, some very heavy rainfall. So flooding is going to be a concern. This is a great time if you are in the Albert Lee area, Mason City area, along I-35 here, south of I-90 or along I-90. So again, Albert Lee, Mason City. If you're in a mobile home to get to a storm shelter, just because these winds, 70 mile per hour winds or higher in these thunderstorms, will have the possibility of having, campers tipped over, things like that with those high winds if they can peak up a little bit higher. So that will be a possibility here. So we want to make sure you get into a safe place. I can't stress that enough. Even if you're not necessarily in that tornado warning, even if you're in a severe thunderstorm warning, you definitely want to leave a mobile home or camper, mobile home, anything like that tonight. One thing that haven't really talked about much is the hail. The hail has been very, very much diminishing throughout these thunderstorms moving towards I-35. So that is a good sign. We're looking at small hail. The only bad part is we do have that rotation in some portions of the area, of course, where we have the tornado warnings for Forest City that is heading towards the Lake Mills area in that northeast fashion. But we do have a little bit of that rotation, those two spots of interest that Nick was talking about. Just west of Leland there, we do have that little couplet. It doesn't take much. When we have these high winds that are around 70 miles per hour that this is warned for, it doesn't take much for these couplets to produce that quick spin-up tornado. And so if you're in the Leland area, you'll definitely want to get into your safe place right now, along with Lake Mills. Joyce, just to the southeast of Lake Mills, you'll want to get into your safe place as well. Forest City, we talked about you want to be into your safe place if you're not already. And then Fertile, will want to get into your safe place too, as we have just kind of this line of thunderstorms that have been kind of producing a little bit of rotation, but just enough to where we do have that threat for a quick spin-up tornado. And again, that's why the Albert Lee area is under that tornado warning that does extend out. It looks like our confirmed tornado does extend out towards further out into Worth and the northern portion of Saragordo County. So Mason City looks like the very northern portion of the city is in this tornado warning polygon, along with Clear Lake. Clear Lake is in this polygon as well, and this entire storm just has that little bits of rotation in there that doesn't take much for these thunderstorms. So if you're in this polygon, you are hearing those tornado sirens going off. You'll want to get into your safe place right now. And as I mentioned before, you want to leave a mobile home, a camper, get into a storm shelter, somewhere safe, lowest part of the building, get as many walls between you as possible with these storms and away from windows. So let's talk about some cities that are in this polygon. We got Northwood, Cassette, Manly also in this warning, Rock Falls in this warning, along, as I mentioned before, Ventura, Clear Lake, the northern portion of Mason City, Emory, also in this polygon for this tornado warning. So that does stretch. That matches up with our Albert Lee tornado warning, except this tornado warning has that pink polygon, so they are labeling it as observed tornado warning, which trying to get in contact with the National Weather Service and see exactly what they're seeing with this tornado warning here. So again, this tornado warning will be close towards Lake Mills, Rice Lake, Joyce, Lake Mills Municipal Airport, and the Rice Lake State Park at around 10:10. Northwood won't be here till around 10:20 p.m. So you have some time to get into your safe place here with these thunderstorms moving through. Again, this is observed tornado, so this includes I-35 between miles marker 193 and 218 with this thunderstorm. We'll put these thunderstorms in motion so you can get an idea of where they are heading. And again, this is moving northeast. They have changed it. It is sped up. It's moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. So we're seeing this thunderstorm moving even faster now. So I'm going to change that here, and we'll get a track on this thunderstorm. I'm going to switch this so it stops. And we're going to track it all the way down towards the Mississippi. So we're looking at Mason City, 1023, Austin, 1047, Cresco at 1116, Decorah, 1131, and Winona finally getting into that area towards around midnight if this thunderstorm can hold up for that long. And of course, we're going to keep watching that. We have another severe thunderstorm warning now. This is included for the Osage Charles City area. So we're talking Mitchell County and Floyd County, and then a portion there, about a quarter of Mower County, just outside of Leroy. We'll zoom in a little bit. That's Lyle and Adams in this new severe thunderstorm warning. Let me take a look at this warning and see. So this is warned for 60 mile per hour wind gusts, so a little bit lighter for those wind gusts, but also maybe that little bit of hail, less than 3/4 of a size hail. So little bits of small hail there, but we're going to see if our tornado warnings, this is when we're going to start to see if the cross adds on. And it looks like the National Weather Service in Des Moines has added, still getting reports of confirmed tornadoes in Winnebago and Hancock counties. So that's why they've continued this and why they're labeling it as observed. So they're getting those really quick spin-up tornadoes, maybe going up and down, touching ground, going back up, touching ground, going back up, type of tornadoes, and with this storm.
Derek, I was just working with the production team. If you are watching us on Facebook, feel free to comment any type of questions that you might have. We have our weekend anchor, Grant. He'll be looking at some of those questions or whatnot. He can relay those to me, and then I can relay those answers to you. So it's almost kind of a conversation between myself and you guys that might be watching on whether that's either YouTube or on Facebook. So some of our streaming platforms. If you're watching here tonight on broadcast again, we are covering up our KTTC news at 10 o'clock tonight as we have some very dangerous storms moving towards the I-35 corridor. Now, you notice are those pink polygons. Again, that means that we have an observed tornado. Whether that is a wall cloud or a tornado reaching down to the ground, I don't know. Derek, try to check on weather-wise if there are any
We
chasers.
did just get a video in the National Weather Service chat near, it was the Wesley one, so by Algona.
Yep.
We did get video of that tornado, and it was on the ground. It was on the ground for a little while. It did have a little bit of debris being shooted up from the tornado there, so we do have.
So yeah, this is the polygon then,
Right.
that Derek is talking about. So if you're in Northwood, if you're in Manly, even Mason City, you are looking at a very dangerous situation with an observed tornado that Derek just said was on the ground just east of Wesley. So we'll want to check in on our neighbors in Forest City, Lake Mills right now, where we do have the pink polygon there with an observed tornado. So let's flip over to velocity, and wow, we could have 3 or 4 different couplets along this. So this is basically worst case scenario that we are looking at. So if you are watching tonight, you have any friends, any family that are along the I-35 corridor in Saragordo or into Worth counties, give them a call. Tell them to get to their safe place. Go ahead, Derek.
La Crosse is drawing up a tornado warning for Mitchell County and southern Mower County.
Go ahead. Say that again, Derek.
The National Weather Service in La Crosse is drawing up a tornado warning for Mitchell County and southern Mower County.
Okay, southern Mower County.
Yep.
Okay, so they will continue this polygon here. So where we see those bright greens, that is where we could have any type of couplet at the moment. And there's that tornado warning that Derek was just talking about. This tornado warning, tell me the timing on that, Derek, when you do have it. You can just interrupt me when you have it. So pink polygons, again, observed tornado. The National Weather Service in La Crosse just issued another one for Mitchell and Mower counties. Do you have the timing on that one?
Yep, so it's warned until 11:15, and we're looking at the storms will be near St. Ansgar and Lyle around 10:35, Osage and Stacyville around 10:40, and Riceville around 10:55.
Okay, so we have quite a few different warnings. We are getting some questions on some of our social media platforms. We'll just zoom into Albert Lee, our friends out in Albert Lee, and I would say the couplet would be right along probably the I-90 right now. So if we did have a tornado, it would be running right along I-90. That cell still moving at about 55 miles per hour at last checked, right, Derek?
That is correct. There was a new warning that came out, and that was the one that was just confirmed. They added on 65 miles per hour
on it. Yeah,
I'll see if they've updated it, but it looks like they're still saying 55 for the Albert Lee one.
So for the Albert Lee cells, so Wells by 10:16, Freeman by 10:24. Time at the moment is 10:15. So Wells into your safe place right now. Freeman by 10:24, not into Albert Lee until 10:26. So you still have 11 minutes. We're giving you 11 minutes of lead time for Clarks Grove, Albert Lee, and Freeman. So plenty of time to get inside, away from windows. And those really bright greens, we're looking at 70 to 75 mile per hour wind gusts this evening for Freeborn County. Let's see, that would not be in. So Grant just asked me about Clemmy. That is not within the polygon for those questions on social media. What is in the polygon, Clear Lake, Fertile, and we're looking at Lake Mills. And I do want, I'll get to Rochester questions here in just one second because we have so many little notches right now along I-35. Basically, the easiest way for me to explain what we are looking at with this polygon that we have in Worth and Saragordo counties. Basically, if you're within that polygon, so northern Saragordo County and now getting all of Worth County, basically just head inside. Get away from windows as soon as possible. Get to your basement if you have one, or just in an interior room in your house if you don't have a basement. whether that's a bathroom or a closet or something like that, because we just have so many inflow notches and so many locations where we could potentially, I can't pinpoint just one of where we would have a tornado at. So several different couplets right near Clear Lake, and then just to the east there of Lake Mills, and looks like eventually would impact Northwood, Manly, and even towards Mason City within the next 10 to 15 minutes. So those are those warnings that we have. Now, we've had some questions about, so this is well west right now of, say, the Highway 52 corridor. What'll be interesting to watch is how this line, because we have the convection, we have the thunderstorms in Fillmore, Winona, and then the southern half of Olmsted County near I-90. How will this line interact as it continues to push to the east once it reaches this convection? Because this is not moving at all. So we have to wait and see what will happen. I do think most of the severe weather tonight, because of where our temperatures are at in Rochester, and check real quick too, Derek, on where some of our surface temperatures are at, because if we're only in the 50s and we have all the warmth down south of I-90, pretty good light outcome that these will stay south of I-90.
Sounds like we have in those cells that are towards Fillmore County, moving in towards eastern Olmsted and Winona, we're starting to see some small hail in some of those cells that are moving through. So kind of, we did get a viewer report, it sounds like, of some hail in Lewiston. Grant was telling in my ear here. So little bits of hail in these thunderstorms that are kind of sitting in Fillmore County, Olmsted County, and Winona County with these thunderstorms. But again, our main threat is going to be the ones that are off to the west. But again, good to keep an eye on these in case these do bump up a little bit here coming up. Yeah,
the cells, Fillmore and southern Olmsted, those are probably will not go severe tonight. The biggest thing with this will be the rainfall that we'll have from the kind of almost stationary cells. So looking at the hail, really not looking at big hail producers. This is that observed tornado warning that we have in northern Iowa. And you can see sometimes hail cores can give you a good idea of where the strongest updraft is and maybe where the rotation is at. But not looking at big hail producers tonight. So I don't think hail, it's wind and these tornadoes along the leading edge is going to be our primary threats tonight. I don't think hail, right now these are not big hail producers. So we still have the tornado warnings all along this cluster, this line here, and you can really see the Boeing segment with this line that's approaching I-35. So again, Freeborn County, and then just running right along I-35, so Freeborn, Worth, and Sarasota counties, we do have that tornado warning. It's extended, so if these cells kind of merge as they move to the east, so we do have for the southern half of Mower County, that the polygon does not include Austin, but it does include Osage. We did have a question about looking at correlation coefficient. Sometimes, again, this is very cluttered, but it could give you an idea of where maybe a debris ball would be at. And
might just be some sound from the radar site, but
yeah, the real unfortunate thing about just where the National Weather Service sites are placed across the country at the moment, we are kind of in between at the farthest point between Chanhassen and Des Moines. So Des Moines, farthest point north, Chanhassen, the farthest point south, Chanhassen in the cities, and then Des Moines in central Iowa. There's no clear-cut debris ball on correlation coefficient. I don't see, I think we're getting too much clutter in on correlation coefficient. So there's nothing at the moment, but if we look at velocity, the strongest velocity would be just towards Northwood, right near the I-35 marker is where our best velocity is at, and then there's these other notches all down the line. So there's about 3 or 4 different spots. That's why I said if you're anywhere within that polygon, expect a really strong wind, heavy rain, thunder, lightning, and a quick spin-up tornado definitely possible.
Looking at our surface temperatures, Mason City was at 67 degrees, now to 66 degrees. Forest City's at 68. So these are places that are pretty much right in front of the storm. Actually, Forest City should be having the storm right now. Rochester's still at 53. So we're still on that cool side. I can still see a pretty strong resemblance of that boundary line kind of stretching right along I-90, showing our warmer temperatures. You can kind of see that behind me there. We have that yellow, and where those lighter greens are warmer temperatures. The darker greens to the north towards Rochester, that's where our cooler temperatures are sitting at. So that boundary line, still very stationary, not moving too much, but still using up that fuel, especially in northern Iowa and along I-90, where we do have those slightly warmer temperatures.
Yeah, so if we were to draw a boundary on radar here, so I want to go to our home view, and then I'll draw a boundary, since I know a lot of people are probably wondering, right? You're tuning in tonight. We've had coverage for 30 to 45 minutes now. So, and we see all the tornado warnings. So if you're tuning in from Dodge Center, Casson, Byron, Rochester, Winona, okay, so what will this mean for you at home? The big thing is, if this boundary just continues to just set up just to, it's basically just like this. So if you're north of that boundary, so if it's right along I-90, if you're north of that boundary, storms probably stay subsevere. If you're south of that line, storms can feed off, even though those temperatures are only in the upper 50s and low 60s, it can feed off that warmth out in front. So I would say pretty much anyone that's south of I-90, if you're south of, say, Preston, so we're looking at our counties, Mitchell, Howard, Winneshiek, Almaquee, in northern Iowa, probably southern Mower, southern Fillmore, and then we'll see about southern Houston counties if that line can stay strong enough. One thing that I want to take note of here is we are losing a lot of the lightning. So as we can, lightning is if you're just looking at radar and you want to observe what's happening in the atmosphere, the stronger the cell, the more lightning it's going to produce, and more lightning is going to show up on our future track radar system. And we have been losing a lot of that lightning along the leading edge. That's what we want to see to get these storms to go sub-severe tonight, and hopefully they can start to weaken. Also
noticing the echo top starting to shrink in a little bit too. That's another sign. We also do have some fairly tall thunderstorms in the ones that are to the east that have been producing that little bit of hail, something to maybe monitor here. Again, don't really expect those to get severe, especially because it's in that cooler sector, but we do have some of those taller thunderstorms that are along Highway 52 and to the east, where that little cluster of thunderstorms are at, that are in front of our main band that's moving through towards I-35. The I-35 band looking like the thunderstorms are starting to get a little bit smaller, but again, it's something that we're going to have to monitor here in the next couple of minutes in the next scans, because it could just be pulsing like these thunderstorms tend to do sometimes.
So I went ahead and just drew a very long track, very broad, basically just I-35 and then moving these storms east at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. So it'll give you a good idea. So Highway 52 corridor, if you're along Highway 52, probably within the next half hour. So we're looking Rochester, Preston for Fillmore County, and then even down into Decorah, probably by about the top of the hour, 11 to 11:15 for the arrival of these thunderstorms. Not to the river valley, so towards La Crosse, you still have another 90 minutes before these storms impact the river valley. So Wabasha, Winona, anywhere along the river valley, we're probably looking at about midnight tonight for those storms to start to move in. So we'll kind of just reset some stuff. I want to talk about the warnings. We still have that pink polygon there, an observed tornado. So let's go back through these warnings and get the latest on some of these different warnings. I would say the best rotation, just looking at reflectivity, here's your little inflow notch. That is north of Mason City, but we have another inflow notch right near Mason City. So you see how it curves and then notches in, curves, and then notches in again. That is where we would have the rotation at within the leading edge of the cell. So Manly needs, you have to be in your safe place. I would say even Mason City too. I know you're kind of just on the fringe of that polygon, but I'm worried about these inflow notches and getting these quick spin up tornadoes. I think our best shot right now of a tornado is right near Manly. There we go. National Weather Service observing right through Mason City.
They're concerned about the rotation that's just south of Mason City. That's where they're concerned.
So I see two different spots of rotation towards Mason City. So here's the one that Derek is talking about. There's another notch just north of Mason City that we could have some rotation. So pretty much almost splitting Mason City. And yeah, I think there's rotation right through Mason City too. So Mason City, tornado warning in effect. Take it seriously. Right now, both polygons for Cerro Gordo County are observed. So we have the notch here just north of Rockwell. This would be just south of Highway 18. Nora Springs, they issued it even, so La Crosse issued something at the same time too. So this is just gonna, if this doesn't weaken, and I don't think this portion of the storm will weaken anytime soon. So we'll just continue to see downstream warnings issued by the National Weather Service, probably in La Crosse. What's the latest on this one, Derek, for Floyd County?
Yes, the Floyd County tornado warning. That's just downstream, as you mentioned, for the Mason City tornado warning. Looking at really no hail in that system. But at 10:23, severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Mason City. That's what they're looking at, and that capable of producing a tornado, those quick spin-ups of these type of thunderstorms is why they're issuing that warning there. And that's also why it's only radar indicated as well.
Derek, I did just get something in from Grant. So, Grant, you said 1,000 customers in southwest Rochester without power?
Oh.
Okay, so near the airport. So in the southern half there of Rochester, probably pretty close to Stewartville too. So heavy rain and then probably some gusty winds there leading to
gusty winds, yeah.
Yeah, leading to some power outages. We got to talk about Freeborn County here. Derek, you want to go over Freeborn County here briefly for me?
Yeah, so we have a tornado warning here for Freeborn County. So this does include the city of Albert Lea. This also has capable of producing 70-mile-per-hour winds, and a place where I'm really focusing on is towards the southern end. So this is going to be towards the Twin Lakes, Glenville area, heading towards Myrtle. You can see those greens and those reds coming together, and that's a quick sign of a possible spin up there in this thunderstorm. We'll look a little bit further north, not seeing too much as we go northern Freeborn County. Not seeing much of any type of rotation there. I want to make sure I'm in the Twin Cities radar site, and there's still then that next scan we do still have a little bit of that rotation there. So if you are in Glenville, the southern end of Glenville, you need to get in your safe place. Myrtle, get into your safe place. Along further east here as we continue to go on. London, you'll want to get into your safe place. Shell Rock there, saw that there on the map. You'll want to get into your safe place very quickly here. We've had a lot of lead time for these tornado warnings, thankfully, as we've knew that these spin-up tornadoes are easy to happen inside of these type of thunderstorms. But real area of concern here is going to be right in here, right along Highway 65, south of Albert Lea in southern Freeborn County. And that's going to be our spot where we're going to be watching with this thunderstorm. Let's go back and look at some radar and let it move a little bit. And again, we're seeing these thunderstorms. Want to focus on the thunderstorms to the east that are producing a little bits of hail in the Lewiston area, probably heading towards the Winona area here shortly in Fillmore County, just leaving Fillmore County. And that's starting to move a little bit faster now, not stalling as much, but still moving through. Also looking to get a little bit smaller, but this line of thunderstorms, so if you're in Albert Lea, you're probably seeing some really gusty winds right now, along with Mason City, with this really, really heavy rain. And again, we have these tornado warnings, Freeborn County, so Albert Lea, Osage, Charles City, so we're talking Mitchell, Floyd County, Worth County, so Northwood, Mason City, so Cerro Gordo County, seeing these tornado warnings. If I listed off your town or you are around these towns, make sure you get into your safe place. That means to leave a mobile home, a camper, get into a storm shelter as soon as possible, because these storms are producing not just some quick spin-up tornadoes that are hard to see on radar, but are also producing some really gusty winds, and we can just tell by this Boeing segment and how fast it is moving. So we have thankfully a lot of lead time into these warnings, but you need to take action now with these thunderstorms moving through, where we could see some of these thunderstorms producing some really gusty winds. So we'll go back towards the Albert Lea one. I do want to focus on that little bit of that couplet that I saw on the southern end there. Still just a little bit on Highway 65 there, so heading towards the Myrtle area. So if you're south of Glenville along 150th Street, between 150th Street and 110th Street, towards between Glenville and Myrtle, you want to seek a safe place here, as we just got another scan there, and then towards Myrtle again, looking to be just a little bit of that tight rotation there, a little couplet in this thunderstorm. So that's just enough. You don't need a lot for these to create those spin-up tornadoes.
Okay, Derek, we did get a video confirmation of this. So this is our weather photo community group. So this was from Barb Jensen. This is the explosion just north of the airport that looks like it took out some power there in southwest. Okay, so this was right around 9:50. So they saw lights flickered 3 different times, and then now we have a power outage of at least 1,000 in the southern half there of Rochester near the airport. So we do have a power outage. I did get a viewer report too we were talking about the heavy rainfall for Fillmore and the southern half there of Olmsted County. Looks like from Alyssa, let's see, we have just over an inch of rainfall in Chatfield with pea-sized hail. So we could be looking at flash flooding in some locations. We have tornado warnings all across this line of thunderstorms that are pushing now east of the I-35 corridor.
And I do want to note that in the thunderstorms to the east that are getting close to the Mississippi River Valley that impacted the Rochester area, there are spotters that are following those clusters of thunderstorms too. So if anything were to come out of those thunderstorms, we will know right away with some spotter reports. We also just got from the La Crosse National Weather Service a personal weather station just northwest of Mason City reported 69-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So that's a new report coming in from Mason City.
Really strong winds. So really strong winds along the leading edge, and we have those tornado warnings still in effect. So the leading edge now east of I-35 and starting to move into Mitchell and Floyd counties. The northern half of Floyd County, if you live in Floyd County along Highway 18, you need to go to shelter. If you're in Osage, shelter. Now, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning issued by the National Weather Service in La Crosse. This includes all of Mower County, so Austin, Leroy, Adams, Grand Meadow, all under severe thunderstorm warning as the leading edge of the line starts to move east there of I-35. We'll continue to probably see more warnings here in the next, I'd say 15 to 20 minutes or so, right, Derek?
Yeah, so this one is warned for 60-mile-per-hour gusts. It's also moving at 60 miles per hour northeast. Looking at radar indicated gusts there. Hail size, not too much of a threat, just less than 3/4 of an inch size, so small hail in this system. We did just get a report from Nora Springs Fire Department reporting 70-mile-per-hour gusts too. That just came in.
So here's all of our timing here back behind Derek there. So Austin at 10:37. So very soon, obviously in the next couple of minutes, that leading edge, at least where I drew the track at. Rochester by 11:17. Decorah not until 11:30. And then Winona just before midnight tonight. We'll see how strong these thunderstorms stay through the next hour or so. I'm really interested to see what happens when they reach the Highway 52 corridor because we're not as warm, so there's not as much juice in the atmosphere for these thunderstorms to feed off of. But still, if they stay strong, Winona by midnight, so late tonight. So if you're watching with us now, you fall asleep, just turn your volume up on your phone. You'll get alerted if there are any type of warnings that will be issued later on this evening. Or basically by early on tomorrow morning for some of us. So the strongest moving through Mason City, so the strongest wind east of Mason City now. The biggest threat to our two counties at the moment would be now looking at getting into Floyd and then Mitchell counties. So Osage towards Charles City. We do have a different type of polygon. So National Weather Service in La Crosse issuing radar indicated polygons. We'll see if those change at all. We still have some pretty good looking inflow notches along the leading edge. The problem that we'll face once again is we're getting in between different radar sites. So it will be hard to pinpoint exactly where some of the couplets are just looking at velocity. I think we have a decent one right near Nora Springs. So Nora Springs, very dangerous situation as, again, we had observed tornado warnings just west. So the pink polygons, Nora Springs, that's a pretty good couplet. A good couplet right along Highway 9, just east of Manly. And you can see with the latest radar scan right through Nora Springs. I hope everyone at Nora Springs, if you're watching, in your safe place. Rockford is in that polygon too, along with Osage. So take this seriously here tonight, folks. Really anywhere along this line. So if you're anywhere within these polygons, because of how quick these storms can spin up a tornado, and it might only be on the ground for maybe a mile. But if that mile happens to be right at your house, you'll want to take it seriously as these storms are moving very, very, very fast. This segment was moving at 65.
That segment was moving at 65. And again, that Nora Springs, we were just talking about that. Their fire department, I mentioned that report. They did get a report of 70-mile-per-hour gusts from the fire department. So some very strong winds in that system. Looks like they just updated that tornado warning towards the St. Ansgar area. So go look at that.
So yeah, you look at that. I'll talk about just the timing. So I mapped this out moving at 60 miles per hour of right along the leading edge. So anywhere where we could have those quick spin up tornadoes at, and moving at about 60 miles per hour. So into St. Ansgar at the moment, Osage, with how fast they're moving in the next 4 to 5 minutes. Charles City by 10:50, Riceville by 10:56, and then Leroy by the top of the hour. So Leroy, you have the longest lead time right now. Not in the polygon, but we'll see if they extend, the National Weather Service extends this farther east. So looking at Leroy by the top of the hour. But again, head to your safe place if you were within those polygons. Derek, what did you just check on by any chance?
Yeah, so just checked that tornado warning that they updated, and they did change a little bit of it. It's now moving at 60 miles per hour instead of 65, so it has slowed down a little bit. But they're warning this due to the history of this thunderstorm of producing those quick little spin-up tornadoes in this thunderstorm. So you want to make sure to get into your safe place. Also, they also mentioned heavy rainfall may be hiding this tornado, so you want to take cover. Rain-wrapped tornadoes, you're not going to be able to see them until it is right in front of you, and so you want to just go inside. There's no point in being outside and trying to get pictures. It's late. It's
don't worry about
rain-wrapped. Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that type of stuff. No, these are not your picturesque type of thunderstorms. You will not be able to see much in terms of any type of tornado or spin up or anything like that. I'm a little surprised we could even get the tornadoes observed, any type of confirmation. I did see a couple of different videos. You could just barely make something out faintly out in the distance with the lightning. You could barely just see what resembled a tornado, at least on social media. So, oh, let's pop that up. What do we have, Grant? So let's see here. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll show it. And you said Rose Creek. So yeah, just let me know whenever you have that available to pop it up. So here's a look. This is in Rose Creek, Minnesota. Just some lightning. And this would be a good idea of what you would potentially see. So making things almost impossible, right? So you would not be able to see if there's a tornado off in the distance. So that's a good resemblance of what these thunderstorms look like here when you're just trying to get that picture or that video of a tornado. So that's why just stay inside tonight, head to your safe place, and make sure again to have a way to receive warnings. Let's flip back over to Max 1 here. Sure, we'll get to some of those locations. Stewartville, I know we have some questions right now. No warnings in Stewartville at the moment or for anywhere along and north of I-90. Everything is south of I-90. We'll see, like I've been talking about tonight, how this line progresses as it moves to the east-northeast into a little bit more favorable environment for these to weaken in. It's not as unstable with our temperatures along the Highway 14 corridor, closer to the low 50s, not in the low 60s and even upper 60s like we've had in some locations. So thunderstorms continue to progress to the east, to the north-northeast in some spots. This whole entire line, you can see pretty much looking like it's moving to the east-northeast here. This line finally moving out of Fillmore County and getting into Winona County. Nothing severe there, a lot of thunder and a lot of lightning and heavy rainfall with the storms that are right along I-90 towards about Winona and just south of Wabasha, right along Highway 61 there, moving east of the Mississippi River. So we still have the tornado warnings. Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, so there's a mesoscale discussion now from the Storm Prediction Center. It seems like they are agreeing with the cooler air from that frontal boundary that we talked about a little while ago will likely be weakening some thunderstorms. But one thing that they are keeping an eye on is that we do have a 50-knot low-level jet towards the surface layer, so that could produce some pretty high gusts going into the rest of Iowa and even into southwest Wisconsin. So this bow echo here that we're seeing, these straight line winds that are moving in towards the Austin area, just leaving the Albert Lee area and moving in towards Austin along I-90, and then also Charles City, Osage, starting to see some of these thunderstorms begin to move into the area. We're likely going to continue to see this bow echo as it is very, very organized, likely going to continue to stay organized here as it sweeps east. So we need to be continuing to kind of watch this, even if you're not in a warned area just yet. If you're in towards the Cresco, Decorah, even Lanesboro, Caledonia area, even though it's far away and you're not in those warnings yet, make sure you're still paying attention to this. Maybe just not going to bed just yet with these thunderstorms moving through and the possibility of these sticking together here and staying organized while we have these really gusty winds. So that's something that we're continuing to watch here. Tornado and still a brief tornado cannot be ruled out within this bow echo line that we're seeing. Of course, that's with the quick spin up nature that these thunderstorms have. So we'll take another quick look at our velocity as we do have lots more greens in there. Not saying too much too concerning just yet, and that's probably why they just have these as radar indicated tornado warnings here, because we're not seeing anything too great rotation wise. So this is the little bit of rotation that we were looking at earlier towards Norris Springs, kind of breaking apart a little bit there. So that's some good news. Still
a decent couplet.
A little bit, and then some little spots of some couplets here, right just north of Rudd. That last scan really took that out. but seeing
Yeah,
a
still, and
few
none,
little couplets there.
right, and these, when in this type of setup, you're not going to see a really, really tight couplet along the leading edge of a storm. But you'll have these small ones here, one right by, zoom in on that
Osage,
one,
yep, that
right
was a
near
big one from the
Osage.
scan, yep.
Yep, so that last scan, and then sometimes what happens, one scan it looks really good, the next scan looks broader, weaker, and then the next scan after that, it regenerates a little bit. So Osage, Rose Creek, I do think we would definitely have some rotation right through the middle there of the city of Osage. So take this seriously. I know it's not observed, right? There is a difference, but it's still radar indicated, and we see the rotation right over Osage here. And just looking at, I mean, this is again, these are very wide tornado warnings drawn by the National Weather Service due to the fact that you can get those quick spin-ups along the leading edge. So Osage, near St. Ansgar, Lisle, all under that tornado warning, along with Riceville. So very dangerous situation in Osage.
Okay.
And then we can see sometimes it helps to zoom out a little farther on our map here.
We did just get a severe thunderstorm warning for, this includes Olmsted County. We have Dodge and Western Fillmore as well in the severe thunderstorm warning. 60-mile-per-hour winds, hail looking to be less than 3/4 of an inch, so some small hail, gusty winds along with this thunderstorm that's moving through. This is warned until 11:45. Again, this is for the Olmsted, Dodge County, and Western Fillmore region.
So run me through one more time because Grant was talking to me. So
Gotcha.
The severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until when?
This is in effect till 11:45.
Okay, so 11:45. Warned for wind then.
Yeah, mainly wind. Yep.
So Olmsted County. This includes the entire Olmsted County. So the warning is the entire county. So Stewartville, Rochester, and then as far east as Winona. So, or as far east as getting into Winona
Western
County.
Fillmore is what we're looking at for further east with this warning.
Yeah, just up until the county line between
Right.
Olmsted and into Winona. Here's a notch that we'll watch right along I-90, just east of Austin. And again, we will have these quick spin-ups, and sometimes they're so quick that you can't even get a warning out in time. But right along I-90, there's that notch, notice, and then the inflow notch is right in there. So I'm sure really heavy rainfall right through Austin, some thunder, some lightning, some strong wind. And I want to keep, Derek, just make sure to keep a close eye on that one for me as we're just looking up and down the line. And so I had mentioned where we had the rotation at. This is another learning example right here. There's that other inflow notch right near Osage where we saw on velocity, right? So things are lining up. Definitely looking at a particularly dangerous situation, I think, in Osage. And that is moving, we're still looking at 60 miles per hour. Is that what the...
Yes, we just also got a new warning for Chickasaw and Howard County that extends towards the northern Iowa. It just matches up with the Olmsted County severe thunderstorm warning now. The northern Iowa new warning that just came out for Chickasaw and Howard has the tornado possible tag. I do want to mention the Olmsted County one does not have that tag, yeah.
So timing right there. So we are looking at Charles City by 10:55, so in the next 5 minutes. Rochester, we are still looking at about 11:15 for this batch of thunderstorms to move in. Preston by 11:20, Decorah by 11:32, and then Winona by 11:49 tonight. We will continue to stick with this as long as we have warnings. Go ahead, Derek.
They're going to draw a tornado warning for Mitchell and Floyd counties right now in the area of rotation that they're seeing.
Okay, so it'll get extended then. So
excuse me, for Howard and Chickasaw, they're going to extend it towards Howard and Chickasaw.
okay,
Sorry.
yeah. So we just have these little inflow notches. We'll see if anything happens with that inflow notch that we had in Mower County. Let's just look at velocity. Okay, pea-sized hail in Chatfield. I don't know why. Oh, yeah, we got some. Right where I was talking about earlier, Rose Creek, some broad rotation. It's really right along I-90 there, right near I-90 and Highway 56.
Yeah.
Minnesota 56 is where we would probably have our best. I don't know why Velocity is doing this to me, but we are getting some clutter
Yeah.
on Velocity. All right, let's see. Derek, take over for a second. I'm going to see if I can fix Velocity on
Sounds
Baxter
good.
Field.
That could be because of some strong winds in here. I'm looking at velocity on my side, and we're seeing 80-mile-per-hour gusts in the southern Mower County with this system. So that may be why velocity is acting a little bit strange too with how strong these winds are. But yeah, here's another look at these thunderstorms. We do have a little bit of some rotation. Do want to mention down towards the Osage area. So we're looking at Orchard as where we do have some little bits, and you can see that little notch without even looking at velocity. I can see a little notch right in there, and so we do have a little bit of that possibility of that spin up that could be possible. I'll try and look at velocity again. It looks a little bit better now. And you can see those reds right next to Osage. So if you are just east of the Osage area along 218, turns into 9, County Road 9 it looks like, then you want to get into your safe place because that little couplet there of some rotation again with these quick spin ups that will be possible. Velocity is starting to look a little bit better here too as kind of watching that one. This is the same one that we were watching earlier, so around I-90. And you can see a little bit of some lighter greens in there, so that's where that's at. That rotation was at, I should say. Sounds like we have some questions about Albert Lee. We'll take a look at radar here. Albert Lee, you're past the worst of it, it looks like. You're just going to have some showers, some remaining thunderstorms here. So the Bow Echo has passed the Albert Lee area. You're no longer in a severe thunderstorm warning. There could still be some gusty winds in there, so but looks like the worst of the storm has passed the Albert Lee area, along with the Mason City area. That has also passed as well.
Yeah, we can kind of give, just real quick, we can talk about the all clear.
Yes.
In terms of...
There's that new tornado warning.
Yeah, there's
too,
the new tornado warning. So just briefly, because we'll have some questions, I-35 and west, you're okay the rest of the night. Everything is east now. So everything will be pretty much this, I'll just draw a line. So if you are out to the east of that line, that black line that I just drew, you'll have active weather through the next hour to 2 hours. You're west of that line, all clear rest of the night tonight. Just some showers and some thunderstorms, but nothing severe as, I mean, we can call it a Bow Echo system as this pushes off to the east-northeast. So that new tornado warning, Derek, what do we have on the timing for this one then from the National Weather Service?
Yes, so this tornado warning is warned until, this expires in an hour, so 11:45. And let's see, I'll try and get some times here. So it says these dangerous storms will be near Riceville around 11 p.m. We got Elma around 11:05, Lime Springs and Jericho around 11:10, and Cresco around 11:20 here tonight with this tornado warning. Again, this is warned for, let's see here, I believe 60-mile-per-hour winds, unless it's 70 now. Should be.
Yeah, we have the timing right behind you.
We do have 60 mile per hour.
So
yeah.
60 mile per hour winds, 10:59 the next 5 minutes in Riceville, Leroy by 11:02, Lime Springs by 11:11, Cresco by 11:18, and then Harmony by 11:24. And it gets some of those locations like Cresco and then towards at least Harmony, not in the polygon. Cresco would be just barely in that polygon, and that's about as far east as the National Weather Service drew that tornado warning. We are getting some questions for our friends in Rochester and then the River Valley here, so I'm going to go just starting at the northern edge of the line and then working our way down. We'll draw out some timing for these thunderstorms impacting certain communities that are under whether that's severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings. So moving the line off to the east, and again, these storms have been moving anywhere from 55 to 65 miles per hour. So into Dodge Center by the top of the hour in just about 5 minutes. Stewartville by 11:08. Rochester still right around about 11:15. Preston by 11:22, and St. Charles there getting into eastern Olmsted County and towards about Winona County by about 11:30 tonight. So that's kind of the northern half of the line. As we move farther south here, we'll move farther south along the line and draw this out, and I'll try to get it as far east as I can here with the computer system. But we'll move it out to include Decorah. So Charles City in the next 2 minutes, Spring Valley by 11:11, Preston by 11:24, Lanesboro by 11:29, and then Decorah just by about 11:30 in the next 30 to 35 minutes. So that's the whole line in terms of impacting our communities farther off to the east. So I want to work our way back along the line too and try to pinpoint some of the velocity that we'll have in terms of our spin-up tornadoes. So Charles City not under the tornado warning. Most of the velocity, at least the rotation signatures, are farther to the north. So looking just to the east-northeast there of Floyd, but Deerfield, Elma, warned downstream by the National Weather Service, there would be your rotation. That'll push towards Elma here very soon. So let's put a track on that and get that right through Deerfield and into Elma. So Elma by 11:07, and then Deerfield by 11:04. So you have about 5 to 10 minutes for where we're seeing some of that rotation along the leading edge moving into those communities. Farther off to the north here, bear with me for a second as we move a little weaker now. So things are weakening for the moment. We'll see in the next couple radar scans if it strengthens a little bit. But we do have some broad rotation right near Riceville. That is why, so this little pocket right here, we'll draw that out and push it to the east-northeast, try to include Lime Springs. So Riceville in the next 2 minutes, Saratoga by 11:08, and then we're into Lime Springs by about 11:14, 11:15. Sure thing. So the counties that would need to take shelter, we'll just go over all of our warnings. That's one of the questions that we just received on social media. So if you're in any of these polygons here that we have, you'll want to be in shelter. Dodge, Olmsted, Fillmore, and then in northern Iowa, especially where we have the tornado warnings at in eastern Mitchell, Floyd, and then into Howard counties, along with Mower County right now with the severe thunderstorm warning. So if you're in the orange here, notice we're in the all clear out west along I-35. It's our Highway 52 corridor counties, and just west is where you want to be in your safe place through at least the next 30 to say 45 minutes as the line continues to progress to the east here. Anything else from the National Weather Service, Derek, with anything? Any specific spots they might be watching?
I was looking at the National Weather Service in the Twin Cities, but they're letting their warnings expire. The National Weather Service in La Crosse looks like they just said that this will likely be the last tornado warning for this line segment, as there seems to be continuing signal for near surface layer to be too stable for a tornado risk.
Say that again, Derek.
So National Weather Service in La Crosse said that this will likely be the last tornado warning for this line segment, as it seems to be a continuing signal for the near surface layer to be too stable for a tornado risk.
Yeah, and we had talked about, we were kind of wondering how this line would interact with a little bit more stable atmosphere closer towards Highway 52. So probably within the next, I'd say 15 minutes or so, this will become more of a straight-lined wind event than anything. And as Derek just relayed from the National Weather Service, not really worried then about the possibility of any type of tornado warnings at that time. So once this expires, when's that tornado warning in effect until, Derek? Do you remember?
This is in effect until 11:45. Yep.
So we have another 30 to 40 minutes. We'll see if, I mean, they could just cancel it too if we continue to see this line weaken. And you can see it. It's not even bowing as much.
It's breaking apart too, getting very unorganized.
Yeah, we'll put this in motion here. Because you can just see how the progression over the last, we'll just do like last 2 hours here. So here's our progression. You can really see the bowing really picks up, and you can even see, look at the outflow. So
wow.
Yeah, watch the outflow. So that's your gust front. So those winds are moving faster than the storm itself. So there's your outflow. That's your gust front that impacted. Thankfully, that didn't impact anywhere here. But that's probably close to 80 miles per hour or so out in front of the storm. But you can see the bowing here with how strong the thunderstorm is. And then notice the lightning too starts, just the clump of lightning, and then it progressively gets weaker and weaker and weaker as it moves east of I-35. So expect this to continue to weaken through the next 30 to 40 minutes. And then hopefully we can give everyone in southern Minnesota and northern Iowa the all clear. So that's probably in the next 30 minutes or so. Now, we'll stick with this as long as we have warnings. Again, I talk about it all the time, we treat every single county we cover the same, no matter if it's Olmsted County, Cerro Gordo County, or Hancock, Winnebago counties. Everyone in the KTTC region, we're just trying to do our jobs and keep everyone safe. Let's talk about Derek, can you go over just some of the impacts that we could have in a couple of our counties here, specifically looking at, say, Fillmore, Olmsted County? Just kind of run us through the risks that we'll have here in the next hour.
Yeah, so this is a severe thunderstorm warning for the Olmsted and Fillmore County area, and this is warned for those 60-mile-per-hour winds, less than 3/4 of an inch size hail. So small hail, once again, will be possible with these storms. And here's a little bit of a time-wise for what we're looking at. Blooming Prairie around at 10:50, which of course that has passed through. Hayfield and Claremont around 11 o'clock, so we're likely seeing that right now as it's 11:04. We also have Dodge Center at 11:05, so we'll be impacting there soon. Rochester, Manorville, Casson, Stewartville, Byron, Spring Valley, and West Concord all at 11:10 p.m. So you still have about 6 minutes until the thunderstorm makes its way into the Rochester area, along with Stewartville, Casson, Manorville, Byron, Spring Valley, and West Concord area. Wyckoff around 11:15, and then Pine Island, Chatfield, and Orinoco 11:20 p.m. And then Yoda and Fountain 11:25. Preston, Elgin, and Dover around 11:30 for this thunderstorm. Again, it's a very long, severe thunderstorm warning due to those really high winds and just taking up a lot of area. So we have a lot of towns to go over with this severe thunderstorm warning. Let's move into a little bit of hail. We haven't talked much about hail, and that's because it's not too much of a threat. We do have little areas of hail. You can see those little bits of purple there. So just south of I-90 there, south of Dexter. Pea-size hail near Blooming Prairie. We have some dime-size hail. So again, hail, not too much of a threat with these thunderstorms. However, we've had that really gusty winds. Gusty winds were always our main threat in these thunderstorms going into the afternoon hours today, or I should say tonight. And again, we're still seeing that tornado warning here towards the Howard County area, where that has been extended, and then northern Chickasaw County, where we have a little bit of those tornado warnings there. So take another look at velocity again. It has been looking like it has been getting a little bit weaker across both areas here. Even further north towards the Dodge Center area where these thunderstorms are starting to impact. Do you seeing anything of interest, Nick? It looks fairly a little bit
No,
weaker.
just see on weather-wise on what some of our velocity is at.
Yeah, I can take a look at that. I was looking at that earlier, and that's where, this is
yeah.
going to be a little bit This is going to be a little bit higher. So around I-90, so near the Dexter area, we're getting velocity readings of, I just got one of 79.4 miles per hour.
Right. So it's probably, yeah, radar, that's probably a little high. We're probably closer. It's warned, they warned for 60. These are all warned for 60, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be a little bit
We're
high.
probably
It is
60.
observed 60 mile per hour gusts though.
Oh, is it?
Yep, they did put that in there for the Austin one. For the Mower County one, we do have observed 60 mile per hour gusts.
Yeah, so on our system, we're closer. Here, I'll show this on air since it's getting decent readings. So there's your 61 mile per hour gusts. I clicked that right near Grand Meadow. So 60 mile per hour winds right through Grand Meadow. So anywhere that you see those really bright green colors on reflectivity, so those are winds moving towards the radar, which is in La Crosse. So right in this section, right along Minnesota 16, it looks like just west of Spring Valley, and then close to Grand Meadow, and then Leroy. So 60 to 65 mile per hour wind gusts.
Looks like we just got a severe thunderstorm watch that includes the Caledonia area, so Houston County, along with Albuquerque County as well. So a severe thunderstorm watch, not a tornado watch, but a severe thunderstorm watch that should be coming into our system here fairly soon.
Okay, so they just issued just for Houston, or they do it for Winona too?
Not for Winona, from what I can see. Nope, not for Winona.
So they extended some watches into Iowa, though?
Yes, into Iowa, so we're talking Albuquerque,
Albuquerque.
and these are severe thunderstorm watches.
So we'll have severe thunderstorm watches eventually populate onto our screen here. They'll be in pink for Houston and Albuquerque counties. What time do those run until? Probably 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning?
They have that until 4 a.m.
Oh,
but they extended it into southern Wisconsin, so that's why. Yeah.
Right. So tornado watches still in effect until 1, although obviously the storms will be east of those regions by 1 o'clock in the morning. We're probably looking at thunderstorm activity, at least for the Highway 52 corridor, until, what do you think, Derek, 11:45, midnight tonight?
I would say so, yeah. That's been what the timings, models have been pretty consistent with that.
Right, for these storms to move east of 52 by the top of the hour. So we have about 50 minutes or so until these storms move east of 52. And then we have River Valley probably by about midnight is where we're looking at in terms of our storm timing. So we do have some stuff starting to make its way into Olmsted County. So we're looking that far southwestern half of Olmsted County, and then into Dodge Center. So looking Dodge Center towards Casson, Hayfield, Rockdale, and then eventually into Byron, Pleasant Valley. And we have our strongest wind probably right in this vicinity, so eventually moving into the southwestern half of Rochester. So our velocity, no couplets, so that is great, but I do think we could have some embedded wind speeds probably just south of, say, Rockdale, right around Minnesota 30 there, looking at 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gusts in this region. So I'll circle it here of where our strongest wind is at. So right in this vicinity, in that southwestern corner of Olmsted County, and then the southeastern corner of Dodge County is where we would have our strongest wind speeds at right now. So 40 to 50 miles per hour. The severe thunderstorm warnings are warned for 60 mile per hour winds, but that's the reading that we're getting on radar estimated right now with those wind gusts. The strongest wind gusts just south of Grand Meadow. This is where we're closer to, say, 60 to 65 miles per hour, just south of Grand Meadow in that eastern half. Okay, so just got a viewer comment of some hail in Grand Meadow, and that would be correct. We're seeing that on our hail detection. So some small hail through just east of Dexter, just south there of Pleasant Valley towards Grand Meadow, right along I-90. That's probably close to pea to dime-sized hail is. Okay, so Grant just said, and that's for southern Rochester then? So southwest Rochester, you said power should be restored by 11:30 Okay, 11:38 expected is for the power to be restored. So hopefully, we'll see with the thunderstorm starting to move in. So can you take over for a second? I wanted to go talk to production real quick.
Yeah,
Take over for a
absolutely.
second.
So, well, as soon as Nick was talking about those high wind speeds that we see on velocity with these severe thunderstorm warnings that are moving in towards the Rochester area, National Weather Service also agreeing with that. They're also watching those wind gusts. Wind gusts of 60 to 70 miles per hour seem realistic given downstream observations, and that's heading towards the Rochester area. So we will probably see some pretty high wind gusts in the Rochester area fairly shortly, along with Spring Valley further south. Spring Valley, Leroy, starting to see some thunderstorm activity. Lime Springs will be seeing this very soon. Elma also seeing these thunderstorms right now with Grand Meadow. As we just mentioned, we did get some readings of some small hail in the Grand Meadow area. And again, these thunderstorms are going to continue to move eastwards here and give us those real strong winds. It may be starting to break apart a little bit, weaken a little bit, but we're still looking at some pretty strong winds with these storms. So we'll likely see this thunderstorm reach the Rochester area within the next 5 to 10 minutes, if not even less than that now, just because it is starting to get close into that southwest portion of the city. So tornado sirens going off in Howard County. We're getting a report of Howard County getting tornado sirens going off. That is because this tornado warning is for Howard County. And so this storm's now moving in towards the Howard County area, so those tornado sirens are going to be going off again here. We'll take a look at velocity and see what we can see here with any type of rotation, maybe a little bit towards Elma, between Elma and Saratoga, right along 150th Street there. Maybe a little bit of reds in those greens, but it is looking not the greatest there.
Right along 185th Street there too.
185th Street.
Yeah, so just farther to the south is where, kind of right on the leading edge.
Oh, yes.
Right. So just east of Elma there on 185th Street. So right in this vicinity. So gusty wind here, and we see the greens and then some reds farther back to the north-northwest. So maybe some broad rotation. Again, though, this is the cell that, at least the portion of the line that we do have the tornado warning in. So just got a report. Derek, did you hear that too? So in Nora Springs, Grant, you said trees and power lines down?
Yep, he just told me.
From the city Facebook page.
Okay.
So Nora Springs. We did have a tornado warning, right, in Nora Springs?
Yeah, we did have that little couplet that looked like some rotation near Nora Springs. Yes.
Right, Grant. Can you make sure to jot that down so we head down to Nora Springs tomorrow for me? Thank you. So some reported damage in Nora Springs. We still have that power outage in the southern half there near the airport in Rochester. This line still on its weakening. So we would call this the mature stage. So it's starting to weaken. We still have some clusters of lightning. And I do want to just look at some of the wind speed, the potential wind speed that we could have that's starting to move into Rochester. I do think we could have some wind gusts. There's some decent ones. Right along 14 here. And of course, then we switch radar sites. So some gusty wind. So these bright reds up to around 45 to 55 miles per hour towards about Byron, Casson, right along Highway 14. Could have some gusty winds there. Right now, a lot of this is at least radar estimated sub-severe. So the good news there could be some embedded pockets where we do get closer to maybe 60 to 62 miles per hour. But everywhere right now that I'm clicking on here, and I'll circle the region that I'm looking at, where unfortunately you can't see it, but it's off screen. So anywhere in this vicinity, about 40 to 50 miles per hour is what radar estimated. So Dodge Center, Hayfield near Sargent, Stewartville, we're looking Highway 14, Casson, Manorville near Byron, and then eventually getting into Rochester. And we might be looking at kind of that far southwestern half of the Med City And probably our strongest, well, it just went away now, but our strongest wind would be right through about Salem. And then again, getting towards that southwestern half of Rochester is probably where our strongest winds are at, just south of, say, Highway 14. And this is County Road 5 southwest. That is where we have some wind gusts approaching about 50 to 55 miles per hour. So some strong wind, thunder, some lightning. I don't think hail is a major factor. There's some pea and dime sized hail, some pockets just west of Stewartville near Rockdell, and then that is just south there of Byron. That's probably closer towards about, okay, so pea sized hail near Stewartville. This is right near Casson, where we could have some pea to dime sized hail. Salem, some pea and dime sized hail, and we just got word of some pea-sized hail near Stewartville, and that is from this purple little blob that we see there on radar right near about Pleasant Valley. So some very small hail. Still though, I mean, you got a car outside.
We did just get a new severe thunderstorm warning. This is for Winona County, Wabasha County, and eastern Fillmore County of southeast Minnesota. This is warned for until 12:15 in the morning, so after midnight, and it's warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds and less than 3/4 of an inch size hail. So about the same severe thunderstorm warnings that we've been seeing towards the Rochester area. Another severe thunderstorm warning now extended downstream towards the Winona area and Wabasha County area. Also the rest of Fillmore County.
All right, so in effect until just after midnight for Wabasha, Winona counties. They also extended into the eastern half there of Fillmore County. So wind will be the primary concern moving forward. So this is really weakening, right? I mean, we can see it's getting pretty weak.
Yeah.
Now this is really falling apart as it moves east of, say, Mitchell and Floyd County. So into Howard County, I would not be surprised if they end up canceling that tornado warning at some point. There still is a little bit of an inflow notch. I want to pause radar. There is just a slight inflow notch of where we've had some of these spin-up tornadoes at in Howard County. So this would be just to the east of Saratoga and just south of Lime Springs. So we'd be looking at right along the Highway 9 marker, so the interchange there between Highway 9 and Highway 63 in Howard County, and they just shaved off some of the tornado warning there, but I would bet that's right where we have the velocity at. So here is your rotation. So if we do have a possible tornado, it would be right along Highway 9, just east there of Saratoga. So if you're in Saratoga, head to your safe place. Lime Springs, Cresco need to be away from windows. Let's see that latest radar scan. Very, very broad rotation now. So it is weakening. All right, so that is a great question. So Grant just asked a question of if you are watching us, whether that's on broadcast or one of our streaming platforms. The question from a viewer was, where is it okay to go to bed at? If you're west of, say, Highway 52, for most locations, I-35, and then towards about Mower County, you're okay for the rest of the night. So any of our I-35 counties, so if we look at Steele, Freeborn, into Worth, Saragordo, Hancock, Winnebago, all clear through the rest of the night. Even for Mitchell and Floyd and Mower counties, you're okay. If your county is highlighted in orange or in red with these polygons, still looking at some pretty active weather. So we're looking Dodge, Olmsted, Winona counties, all of our Highway 14 counties from Dodge, Olmsted, Winona, Wabasha, Fillmore, and then in northern Iowa, Howard and Chickasaw counties still with warnings. That's where you still want to be weather aware at least through about 12:30 tonight. So Highway 52 corridor through about probably the next 30 to 40 minutes, and then the River Valley until after about midnight. Derek, did you have something?
Yeah, National Weather Service and La Crosse, when they drew this Winona severe thunderstorm warning and Wabasha counties along with the rest of Fillmore counties, they're not overly confident in how well the winds are going to be towards the surface. So these storms still have some good winds. to them, but towards the upper levels, towards the surface, they're not exactly sure how it's affecting the surface winds, so maybe not as strong wind speeds as it was towards, of course, the I-35 area where we had those real strong thunderstorms. But they did draw the warning just because the presence of the storms making somewhat of that bow shape being somewhat organized gave them the warrant to do a severe thunderstorm warning downstream towards the Winona, Wabasha, and the rest of Fillmore County, just to be on that safe side there in case we do see any of those winds kick up over 60 miles per hour. And that's what those warnings are warned for 60-mile-per-hour winds.
Just looking off camera here, some really heavy rainfall and some lightning on one of our Lewis Nato live cameras. So here's just a couple of cameras. This is a live look outside. So that's right on top of the CC Heights. You can see the heavy rainfall there. Here's a look at some of our cameras. We see the lightning, Pine Island, Dodge Center, and in Rochester. So some really heavy rainfall. And we haven't heard anything from the Weather Service about any type of flash flooding or anything like that.
Not other
right?
than the mesoscale discussion that we had. No other flooding thing. We did just get a report, Grant just told me, that of some hail in southwest Rochester near the airport.
Yeah, I did. I looked at hail detection and I didn't see a whole pea-sized hail. So some very, very small hail along the line here. But really the best news I can bring everyone that would be Highway 52 and east is this line is weakening, and it's weakening quickly. Now, we still have that cluster of lightning, so our lightning strikes right now, not the worst that we've seen from a line of thunderstorms, but this would be the strikes that are impacting most of southern Minnesota right now. So we have our number of strikes at 214 now. There have been times where that's up over 1,000 when we've been doing wall-to-wall coverage like we are tonight. So it is weakening. That's great news. Still, though, even with 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts, you could still do some damage below the patio furniture around too. So if you are along the river valley and you have time to maybe go outside, some of us, it's been so warm lately, maybe you have the patio furniture out. If you're in Winona, Wabasha, Houston counties, you have some time to get out there and maybe just hunker some of that stuff down so it doesn't blow away even with 40 to 50 mile per hour gusts. So things are weakening. So great news there. I do want to check. Okay, so power has been stored in southwest Rochester then? Perfect. So no impacted customers near the airport. So some good news there. So all power should be restored. And in terms of our tornado warning, I mean, there's not a whole lot there, Derek.
Nope, not seeing much.
So getting some clutter on velocity here, but some really, really good news. Derek, you've been here all day today. Let's, since I think for the most part, and we'll loop this. Now, we have some of these warnings, but since we are here and we're really looking at maybe just 40 to 50 miles per hour in terms of our winds, do you want to go through some of the forecasts that we have on the way for tomorrow? Because obviously we are concerned that we could see strong to severe thunderstorms again. We have a first alert day in effect for Monday too. Derek, do you want to walk through some stuff in terms of Monday?
Yeah, for Monday, from what I've been seeing today, it may feel or even look very similar to what we're dealing with tonight. We're looking at maybe the same time frame, looking to be towards the late night hours, towards the late evening and the nighttime hours, I should say, where we have this line of thunderstorms move through. Gusty winds are going to be our main threat coming up, and you can see behind me, we do have that severe storm outlook here. So level 2 out of 5 risk across the entire viewing area. We do have a level 3 out of 5 risk just in the southern Cerro Gordo County area, and you can see that where the brown is, that level 3, even a level 4 risk there, it's even further south. So the strongest area of storms, what we're expecting going into tomorrow is these thunderstorms are going to start around here and this is where they're going to be the strongest in this area, and then they're going to track northeast, very similar to what we're seeing today, and eventually make it into our area, and we'll see some of these thunderstorm potential later on, looking to be into those evening hours coming up for tomorrow. So again, that level 2 out of 5 risk here across the region. So let me go back into, we can look at a little bit of our threats. This is again for tomorrow. Our tornado threat, we do have that level 2 risk that kind of just follows that level 2 risk for the whole storms in general. So level 2 out of 5 risk for our tornado threat. Larger tornado threat, I want to mention, is to our south, where those thunderstorms are expected to start towards Kansas and Nebraska. And then the tornado risk starts to shorten up as these thunderstorms are expected to continue to move northeast. We'll go to our wind outlook. Wind will be our primary threat going into tomorrow, as we do have that level 3 out of 5 risk for our wind threat. I do want to note that today we had a level 4 out of 5 wind threat towards I-35, so a little bit different there. Of course, fine-tuning the forecast as we go into tomorrow, so this will likely change a little bit. Then as we go into our Storm Prediction Center hail outlook, we also have a level 2 out of 5 risk, and that was also the same as today. So looking very similar to how today went, looking to be how tomorrow is going to go as well, with some late evening thunderstorms, and then kind of having that gusty winds being our main threat. We will have the threat for a few tornadoes and also some hail, kind of all threats on the table, but those gusty winds will be our main threat going for tomorrow's first alert day. And again, we'll be towards the evening hours, roughly looking to say around 6 or 7 p.m. till around that midnight hour. If not, may even go later too if we have some later development.
So, I mean, potentially another long night again for southern Minnesota and northern Iowa tomorrow night. We can look at model guidance here and just look and see what we're looking at in terms of timing tomorrow. So this would be 9 o'clock tomorrow evening, thunderstorms making their way along the I-35 corridor. And we'll see, how it's not happening at a perfect time for really strong thunderstorms for southern Minnesota and northern Iowa. So it might be another case of how it was tonight, where they're kind of strong I-35 and to the west, and then eventually they slowly weaken. So that's a look at tomorrow evening, pretty much at this time, so 11 p.m. Monday night. So maybe another late night situation where you're staying up late with myself and Derek Overland, tracking out some showers and thunderstorms again tomorrow evening. Looks like wind, as Derek was talking about, will be our primary threats for tomorrow night. So recapping some of our warnings that we have at the moment. We still have that tornado warning. While I'm talking about this, Derek, just see if the National Weather Service has said anything about that TOR warning, if they're going to let that expire or not.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything on that. Doesn't look like they're saying anything. I can ask them quick.
So we still have those severe thunderstorm warnings along the River Valley, including Olmsted County here. We do have sirens in Lime Springs going off. So did just get that passed along from our Grant Jones. So zooming in to the polygon here, I just want to check and just see if we see any good pockets of rotation. Can you just message the National Weather Service, Derek, and just see what they plan on doing with this warning, if they plan on issuing anything farther downstream or not with that. In terms of any other locations with any type of rotation, not seeing anything. I will take note, though, some strong wind through about Spring Valley, looking at 50 to 60 mile per hour gusts there with those really bright green colors. Not extremely windy through Rochester, maybe 35 to 45 to maybe 50 at most in some spots. Just looking at real-time data on reflectivity, the big thing will be some heavy rainfall. And it does look like the strongest wind now would be along the leading edge. That is now east of the metro for Rochester. So towards Chatfield now, eventually towards about Plainview, We're looking at Iota, and maybe with some strong winds right along that leading edge is where we could have some of the strongest winds up near about Pine Islands and Broda. Some heavy rainfall, thunder, lightning. And again, not expecting any type of tornadic activity for any areas north of I-90. We just have the tornado warning still warned for Howard County. That's the eastern half of Howard County. And National Weather Service hasn't extended anything into Winneshiek County. So I would expect, they think it's pretty much fallen apart. So no answer from the Weather Service
I haven't gotten an answer yet, no. But something that is interesting, we did have a severe thunderstorm warning towards the Wisconsin side, so they are in that cool sector. And the storm did perk up. It had some larger hail in it. I'm guessing that's because of those cooler temperatures. It was able to kind of get that larger hail core in it. But even though it's in that cooler sector, we do have that chance for maybe a little bit more hail, and that's why we've been seeing a lot of those hail reports. You can see behind me there, maybe in that cooler sector towards the Rochester area, we've seen a lot of pea-size hail readings, and we can see one there towards South Rochester of some small hail, and that could be because of that cooler sector that we're in.
Right, so we're looking at 3rd Avenue Southeast, 11th Avenue Southeast is probably where we're looking at the best hail. Highway 14, so anywhere right along Highway 14 there through the southern half of Rochester and maybe up to East Center Street is where we could have some of the small hail. So kind of looking south of 2nd Street is probably where most of the hail will be at. Let's pop up the news PC then, and we can just see some of the small hail since we're talking about the hail. This would be in Rochester, so that's about the size of hail that. So from Natalie Johns, if you want to play that video again for me again, Grant. So that's the size of hail that we're looking at. Those little purple blobs that you see on radar here, that's about the size. So pea-sized hail. Good reference there. So thanks for sending that in, Natalie. So that is the size of hail, and then notice just the latest radar scan, not even picking up on that hail at all. So
we do have a special weather statement for a strong thunderstorm, and that is in the Goodhue County area, looking at 40-mile-per-hour winds.
Yep, some small hail with that in Goodhue County. Right now, again, just some severe thunderstorm warnings. We still have that tornado warning, so we will stay with this as long as we have that tornado warning, or if we get word from the National Weather Service that they'll cancel that. Grant, again, good question. So, the locations, the all clear, if you're west of 52, so I-35, green light to head to bed tonight. So Mason City, Albert Lee, Austin, anywhere in Mower County. If you're in northern Iowa for Mitchell, Floyd counties, you're okay the rest of the night. The biggest thing will be right along the river valley. So the counties that will be impacted would be Goodhue, Wabasha, Winona counties, and eastern Fillmore County through the rest of the night tonight. You have any?
Just got word from the National Weather Service. They have no plans on issuing any tornado warnings downstream. The environment does not support tornado potential, and also at this point, they're not seeing much on radar scans, neither are we.
Right, yeah, and the leading edge of the cell that, at least the portion of the line that was warned, is now moving east of the polygon. So this was warned until what time, Derek?
Let me check again here. This was warned, it expires in 9 minutes, so it was warned until 11:45.
Okay, so I think we'll see that expire here fairly soon. Let's have you go up and down the line here and just talk about some of the wind speeds that we could be seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. So further to our north, we do have a special weather statement for areas in Goodhue County, this just came in. So not necessarily a severe thunderstorm warning, but it is a special weather statement where we're looking at the possibility of around 40-mile-per-hour gusts towards the Goodhue County. So that does include some Broda, Red Wing, Cannon Falls, places like that in Goodhue County that will see some 40-mile-per-hour gusts. We do have this severe thunderstorm warning that is for Wabasha County. That thunderstorm is beginning to move into the Wabasha area, and we are seeing this warned for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And that's what these thunderstorms are going to be warned for pretty much throughout the entire downstream here, 60 miles per hour. Even towards the Winona area, we're looking at 60 mile per hour gusts. Again, small hail. We did have some video, some reports of that small hail across this line of thunderstorms, especially because we are in that cooler sector. It's a little bit easier to get hail stones when you have those ice stones, right, when it's cooler in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So a little bit easier to get some of that small hail to develop in some of these thunderstorms. But again, Winona County will see those 60 mile per hour gusts as the storm moves through, same as the rest of Fillmore County. So Preston, you're just starting to see some thunderstorms move in. Lanesboro will be there soon. Canton, you'll see some thunderstorms soon, along with Rushford. You'll see some thunderstorms move in fairly quickly. And then Spring Valley, you're starting to get into the all clear here. So we're mainly looking areas west of Highway 52 starting to get into the all clear. So we have Rochester, getting past the brunt of the storms. Of course, there's still going to be some thunder and lightning in some of this, maybe some pockets of heavy rain throughout the night tonight, but severe potential is going to be very, very low, really non-existent, just because of how cool our temperatures are. We just had this rain move through that cooled us down. So again, we do have history of some stronger winds to our south, towards south of the border. So we'll take a look at this severe thunderstorm warning. But this severe thunderstorm warning towards Chickasaw and Howard County, both are warned for only 60 mile per hour gusts. So that has died down as well. This is the one thunderstorm that was warned for 65 mile per hour gusts, even the 70 at a point. But now it is really dying down, breaking apart, getting very unorganized here as we go into the later night hours here tonight. Yeah, we can get to some timing for the rest of this thunderstorm. So this is moving at 55 miles per hour still. And we'll get a timing. I'll actually put this timing, the whole thing here. So we'll loop it around, and we'll go all the way across the Mississippi. So we're looking at St. Charles at 11:43, Decorah 11:53, Winona right after midnight at 12:08, La Crescent at 12:21, and then eventually into La Crosse by 12:24. So that's when the line of these thunderstorms are expected. The brunt of these thunderstorms that are starting to weaken will be moving into those areas coming up. So Grant just asked, how will this impact tomorrow's storms? So we will be watching to see how the back end of these thunderstorms react. So towards the end of the night tonight, we'll have still some showers maybe lingering in towards the furthest southeast portions of our area into the morning hours. But the overnight hours, we have a reset in our atmosphere. So these thunderstorms at a whole won't affect too much of what we see for tomorrow, as long as they don't linger too long into tomorrow morning. Again, tomorrow's storm chance looking to be more of a conditional risk from the Storm Prediction Center and National Weather Service, as we're looking into how these storms, again, as I mentioned before, leave the area if they kind of linger around a little bit more, and then we will have some of those thunderstorms. But here's another severe thunderstorm warning that we just got into the Winneshiek area. So this is warned for
it's gonna
60
populate.
mile per hour.
So 60 mile per hour
Yep.
winds. So 60 mile per hour winds, less than 3/4 of an inch in diameter for hail. So that does include Decorah. So this is really just looking at this section of the storm right here, just east of Carrasco. That tornado warning will expire here fairly soon, and then we just have that severe thunderstorm warning in effect until 12:30 tonight for some portions of Winneshiek County. That tornado warning still just in effect for the next 4 minutes. So what my goal here is, we'll stay on until at least 11:45 for that tornado warning to expire. It'll go off the screen, and then we'll just kind of run through some of our counties. I want to stick with our River Valley counties. If you've been watching us from Winona or Wabasha. You've been pretty much with us for the last 90 minutes or so. So I don't want to leave everyone hanging out on the river valley here too, as finally those storms are making their way along the river valley. Yeah, we can pop up the viewer video. It's always good to see some of the viewer videos, as we just have no tornado warnings, not expecting the tornado warnings. Here's some of the heavy rainfall, and you can see the lightning. See if we can kind of hear some rumbles of thunder, but you can really see the rainfall hitting the pavement there. So heavy rain. I'm sure some of our rainfall amounts easily up over an inch in some spots. So that's from Paula. Paula, thanks for sending that in. Again, you can join our Weather Photo community group too on Facebook. That's how everyone is, that's the easiest way to send us information. Can we pop the news PC back up though, and just have Grant show and just kind of scroll through? So that's our Weather Photo community group. This is right on Facebook. You can join it. You just ask to be, submitted in. We approve it, and then you can send your viewer photos. And we are actually starting garden gallery coming up tomorrow too. That's everyone's favorite thing to do in the summer. Take photos of flowers, send them in, win a little $10 gift card. If you're picked a winner, we'll have winners Monday through Saturday. So make sure to send those in too. Sarah Gannon's in charge of that. But that's our Weather Photo community group on Facebook. I think we're up over, almost 9,500 people. That is the easiest and fastest way to send us reports throughout severe weather events, and then we can just relay that right on air just like that. And then live on our Facebook feed and YouTube and whatever else that we're streaming on our live stream at KTTC.com too. The easiest way to get viewer reports across the region.
I do want to mention for our Winneshiek severe thunderstorm warning that just came in, they warned it just for the fact that there was a slight surge that they noticed just northern Winneshiek County. So that's why they have issued that severe thunderstorm warning there, just for that surge to make up for that in case there's any type of gusty winds in that thunderstorm. So that does include the Decorah area in that severe thunderstorm warning in northern Winneshiek County.
So we got 1 minute left of that tornado warning that we have in Howard County, and the warning's pretty much over with anyway, since the line has moved east of where the polygon is at. The strongest wind speeds that we would see along the leading edge would be through the central half here of Wabasha County, and then into getting into western Winona County. So just through St. Charles, and then just east of St. Charles is where we'll have some gusty winds at, and that's really just down the whole line. Into Fillmore County, we still have that severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect, so we're looking Rushford towards Lanesboro, Preston, and into Mabel Canton, where gusty wind will be the main threat the rest of the night. So as long as we have these thunderstorms in the area until probably about 12:30 tonight, wind will be the primary concern with some heavy rainfall. So that's why we have those severe thunderstorm warnings issued along the line here, eventually moving into Rushford, and the tornado warning is now gone. So we are tornado free. We'll just run through our warnings that we have. We'll look at some wind speeds, and then we'll hop off air, and we'll send you back to regular scheduled programming probably within the next 5 minutes or so. So all of our severe thunderstorm warnings that we have, we can just pop up all the information here. Olmsted County now not under a severe thunderstorm warning, so that has expired. So some of our warnings that we do have, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Winona County Winona, Wabasha counties until 12:15. So the time at the moment is 11:45. So another half hour severe thunderstorm warning for Winneshiek County until 12:30. So that again is for those strong winds. Can I get the Fillmore County one to pop up? I can't. I would assume Fillmore County is probably in effect.
The Fillmore County one's attached to.
It's attached to
Winona
that one.
one.
Yeah. So these three. So Fillmore, Winona, Wabasha counties in effect until 12:15, and then until 12:30 in Winneshiek. Derek, you want to run us through where we're seeing some of the strongest wind at here?
Yeah, we can take a look at that. So we do have some strong winds. It looks to be a little bit behind the thunderstorm. So around the Spring Valley, Preston area, we're seeing some rather strong wind speeds there. We'll take a look at some of that on velocity here. And yeah, click on Spring Valley, and we're looking at maybe roughly around that 50-mile-per-hour wind speed. And yeah, right around those lime greens where it shows kind of those higher wind speeds near Lanesboro. Again, close to that 40 to 50 mile per hour wind speeds there. Preston, about the same, 40 to 50 mile per hour wind speeds, kind of in between there. So yeah, that circle right here is going to be an area maybe behind the brunt of the storms, but we still have those high winds sticking around.
Yeah, let's just look at some of the wind speeds that we could have in Rochester right now. So if you want to just know and head to bed. So around about 30 miles per hour is radar estimated in terms of our wind speed. So it does look like most of the strongest wind is back behind most of the at least rain, like the leading edge of the storm. It's kind of pooled back behind here. So into Fillmore County and then even eastern Mower County, we could still have some strong wind gusts there too. I will say, just looking at the Winneshiek County one, where we do have a severe thunderstorm warning at, we do have some strong winds right through Decorah. So this is right along Highway 52. So Decorah with some pretty gusty winds approaching about 50 to 60 miles per hour. So gusty wind along this front, and just some severe thunderstorm warnings now that'll be in effect until just after the top of the hour for a lot of communities. Derek, one thing that I do want to go through, run us through some of our threats again for tomorrow, because it could be maybe another late night for southern Minnesota.
Yeah, so our threats for tomorrow, our main threat coming up is going to be those high winds. So we're looking at some gusty winds being our main threat once again. We do have the chance, secondary threats for hail and for tornadoes once again. So we'll look through some of those threats again once again. Here's our tornado threat on the screen behind me, and we'll pull that up here fairly shortly. But we do have that level 2 out of 5 risk for tornado development. Level 3 risk is just south of the Cerro Gordo area, so staying in central and southern Iowa for that higher threat for our tornado threat. And again, stronger thunderstorms are expected well to our south towards Kansas and Nebraska. That's where the brunt of these storms are likely going to be down towards the southern plains there. But we still have our level 2 out of 5 risk for the tornado outlook. We'll look at our wind outlook now. Of course, we have the level 3 out of 5 risk across most of the area. If not a level 3, you're in a level 2 or level 1 risk. Again, do want to mention that today, we're in a level 4 out of 5 towards the I-35 area. So we just had, we're getting reports that sirens are starting again in Cresco.
So yeah, we'll look at that here. So wind tomorrow, our main threat.
Wind tomorrow, main threat.
Not really sure why the sirens would be going off in Cresco, unless if they are in this newly drawn polygon. I'm not sure. Everything's east of Cresco, so shouldn't have to worry about anything in Cresco tonight. We're just going to kind of recap everything just briefly, and then we will be able to hop off air. Our warnings that we do have moving into the river valley, tornadoes not expected the rest of the evening. National Weather Service even indicated that to us, that they don't expect to issue any tornado warnings through the rest of the evening. So we are looking at just a couple severe thunderstorm warnings, 4 of them. So we have Wabasha, Winona, Fillmore counties until 11:15. So you have another 25 minutes left of those. It looks like a lot of the wind speeds are sub-severe. They're closer to around maybe 45 to 55 miles per hour.
Yeah, we just did get a report from Winona County. Altura Fire reported 42 mile per hour gusts just now.
Right, so sub-severe in terms of a lot of the wind gusts that we have. And then Winneshiek until 12:30. So we are going to hop off air here very soon. Just want to say again, thank you to everyone for trusting us. A big thank you to everyone in the production booth, and then of course Derek Overland too. We might have to do this again coming up tomorrow night, so make sure to stay weather aware, not just overnight, but also tomorrow. Meteorologist Ted Schmidt will have the latest details on tomorrow's first alert day. That is coming up on your KTTC News at 4:30. And then if you miss that from 4:30 to 7, we also on our sister station will have a morning show at 7 o'clock on Fox 47, where Ted will go over that. If you miss that for some reason, hey, you can catch our noon show too on KTTC. But for tonight, hopefully we don't have any type of injuries. I know we have some damage reports in Norris Springs, so some trees down and power lines down too. But we do thank you for trusting us with your weather coverage. For now, we can finally send you back to regular scheduled programming.